my former band director passed away. Lloyd Hoover. He was very well known for bands, and he taught it. He was our band director at Shaw, and I was talking to one of my classmates who told me about his death. Actually, his son called me and told me about his death, and he reminded me, right? And I don't, you know, don't matter. But what he reminded me was, he said, Doc, I think you're the only one who graduated who got a doctorate degree. I'm like, really? Never thought about it. Then he proceeds to say, I know, ghetto boy.
Wow.
You know, what I'm saying, Mark, is sometimes it don't matter where you start. And sometimes people place more value on where you began, on your pedigree, right? I'm talking to my babies now, right? I don't care what your circumstances have been. Doesn't matter what it looked like growing up, right? I remember when Stephanie and I was dating, Stephanie would say that, remember you went everywhere. Stephanie used to travel everywhere. We used to, Europe, and she'd been places I ain't never thought about going, right? One day I will, one day, right? But then when one day she took me to her home, the first time we went to West Virginia, right? And she said, okay, then we got to Charleston, and I was like, wow, okay, this is nice. I like Charleston, whatever. But then she really took me home, right? To London, right? And I said, man, girl, you done came a long way. You done came a long way, boy, right?
How people judge like that?
Well, I wasn't necessarily judging, but I do hear what you're saying. I wasn't necessarily judging. The thing is that sometimes in our head, we like to look at where a person's origins are, right? And we think the origin determines the altitude of a person's lift, right? Right? When in all honesty, it does not, right? I love when I meet people to find out where they come from. I love to find out people who come from little small colleges, who beat the odds, right? People who they say, huh?
Come from the street and made it.
Well, that would be my,
Absolutely.
that would be my pedigree.
Amen.
You know?
From nothing.
Come from nothing. Come
And
from
people
nothing.
like, oh, you was raised here? Like, it's an expectation.
Oh
like,
man, I hear that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You were raised
Right?
here?
I mean, up in the, you come from DC?
DC.
You were born in DC? You born in DC? I say I sure was.
Southwest.
I sure was. I say it proudly. I say yes, I'm a product of the District of Columbia Public Schools. Yes, I am, right?
Somebody told me you're doing pretty well to come out of this area.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what's that supposed to mean?
Hey, well, you know what it means.
Yeah, but no, but I question the person because, I told him my background. He was like, oh wow, where you from? I said, I'm from here. It's all you're doing pretty well to come from this. What does that mean? What are you saying? Well, what I'm saying
You
is,
should have asked me, well, where do you come from?
I didn't even care.
Right.
'Cause after that slur is like, I guess you think people from this area aren't supposed to do very well.
Of course they don't.
That's not cool.
But, Mom, it may not be cool, but what I learned from Jesus is whatever they thought about it, because remember, Jesus couldn't do no miracles in his home. Remember that? Remember? He was born in a manger, in a trough, right? Manger is a pretty word, right? That's a Miss Gray's word, right? Manger. He was born in a manger, right? I always say he's born in a feeding
And a
trough.
hog pit.
A hog pit, right? He was born to play where the slop was, right? That's where he was born, right? And when Jesus went back, remember Jesus was going around doing all these miracles, healing people, you know, all that kind of stuff. Jesus went home to his own people, and his own people said, well, ain't he a carpenter? All he do is bear nails, right? Right? What's my point? You around royalty
And don't see.
and don't even know it.
Don't
Well, my prayer for us is that we do not dismiss the presence of God.
Come on.
Let's stop walking around every day not recognizing that the Spirit of God is with us. God is here.
Amen.
Emmanuel, what does it mean?
Come on.
God with us.
And that,
He came into the world, right? And the world forsook him.
come on.
Right? Do me a favor real quick. Turn to John. John chapter 1. Just go right. Y'all there? All right. Now y'all check this out. John chapter 1. Check this out. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So we don't know necessarily what this word is, but the thing we do know about the Word is the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Right? So whatever this word is, it's God.
In the beginning.
Right? In the beginning.
Genesis
In the beginning.
1:1, yeah.
Genesis 1. There you go. Good job, Joe. Right? He was in the beginning with God. Ain't that right?
Jesus.
All things were made through him, and without him, nothing was made that was made. So not only was he in the beginning with God, not only was he God, but everything that was made by him. Right? In him was life. So, ain't no life outside of him. Life is only found in him. Right? Because where's life? In him. Y'all get that? I love words, boy. In him was life. In him was life. And the life was light, was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. Right? I hear Reverend Jones channeling in my head right now. Reverend Jones would say, this verse right here, it would say, and the darkness did not comprehend it, and the darkness comprehended him not. You know, Reverend Jones loved that King James. Amen. Amen. That's my brother. Amen. Verse 6 says, there was a man sent from God whose name was John. This man came as a witness to bear witness of what? The light. That light we just talked about, right? That all through him might believe. He was not that light, that's John. John was not that light, right? But was sent to bear witness of that light. Check this out, y'all. Verse 9. That was the true light, which gives light to every man coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. Ain't that sad? Verse 12 says, but as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in him or his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Right? Verse 14. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory of the one begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. I'm going to stop right there. Check this out. This one who was the Word, he came as light, right, to his people. But guess what his people couldn't do? They couldn't comprehend it. They couldn't understand it. Right? They couldn't rationalize it. My prayer for us is that as we go through this season, that we recognize God ain't in the presence. God ain't even in the giving.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on, cuz.
That's right.
Come on.
God is in a life that's dedicated to serve humanity. That's dedicated to help somebody
That's right.
grow. God is in allowing our minds to grow from one place of being lost to a place of being found.
That's right. Come on.
God is present in us, allowing him to change the very heart, the very nature, that evil mess that's in us, that mess. God is in, but that can't happen if you can't see him.
Amen. Amen.
You got to see him.
Everybody heads. Heavenly Father, first and foremost, thank you for waking us up in the morning, putting us on our way so we can fellowship and learn more about your teachings, God. I want to pray that this offering is used for the blessing and the growth of the church. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Come on.
Yes.
We got to know that God, sometimes we've made up God. We've created God.
Come on.
We've conjured God. We made God to fit in our box, to make us feel good about the box we're in, as opposed to realizing that God don't need our help or our definition of him. Right? God is whom he communicated himself to be to us,
Come on.
not who we made up. Right? Only point I'm trying to make is as we walk in the Spirit, sometimes walking in the Spirit comes as a recognition of understanding who God is. Because if you walk in accordance to the God you think is God, sometimes your walk don't line up with it.
Wow.
Did that make sense? Right? Right? If God gives you parameters concerning what the definition of being holy is, but you done made your God up,
Yeah.
and your God telling you holy is something